FanTeam.com are bringing Champions League football back with a bang and offering a €250,000 guaranteed prize pool contest, which will cover the group stages only. Put your fantasy football skills to the test and turn €25 into a €50,000 payday. Enter now via the link in the description. As the international break comes to an end, it's time for the first Q&A of the season. Here's a look at some of the questions that have been sent in ahead of Gameweek 5. Andrew Cook asks, have we missed the boat on Dominic Calvert-Lewin, or is he still a good option at his current price? I would say he is still a good option at his current price. Realistically, there probably will come a point where he drops off slightly, but he's clearly a man in form. He marked his England debut with a goal against Wales. Everton as a team are firing on all cylinders, he's getting the service, so there's still plenty of reason to bring him in. Only Kane and Salah have taken more than his 13 shots in the box this season, and 6 of those efforts from Calvert-Lewin have been inside the 6-yard box, which is a league-leading figure. In some ways, buying in late does liberate you later in the season when it comes time to sell. You're not going to be as tied in. You'll be able to make that decision without fear of how much money you're losing in the process. Marcus Madness asks, are you going to stick with De Bruyne? I know he's quality, but he's not really on form at the moment, and I feel I could use the money better in different areas. Man City have really struggled without a striker, but Aguero is back in training now, and having him fit soon will be a huge boost for them. But De Bruyne has still bossed the underlying stats even when he's failed to pick up points. He's ranked joint top with Salah for attempted assists this season with 14, despite playing one fewer game. Amongst Man City teammates, he's top for big chances, total shots and shots on target, while his 5 shots in the box rank second only to Sterling. So I can understand those making the switch to Heung-min Son, if that's your only route to the Spurs midfielder, but ideally I'd be looking to try and have both of them. Prabin asks, can West Ham assets be big differentials this season? We've seen West Ham in the last couple of game weeks keep back-to-back clean sheets against Wolves and Leicester, while scoring 7 goals in the process. So although it's only a small sample size, they're looking good defensively, they're looking good going forward, and there's plenty of well-priced options to consider. You look at the next 3 fixtures and it's hard to invest in them right now, with Spurs, City and Liverpool to come, but from Game Week 8 onwards all the way up until around Game Week 25, they've got a long run of good fixtures. Antonio is the obvious name to mention. I think he'll be someone we all look at over this run. He's had 4 big chances so far this season, and only Calvert-Lewin and Kane can better his 8 shots on target amongst forwards. Bowen and Soucek stand out in midfield, and Masuaku, playing in a wing-back role, could be a good option amongst 4.5 defenders. He's created 2 big chances in his 3 appearances. Kevin11 asks, when are you going to Wildcard? Is it too early for me to use my Wildcard? I'd say it's never too early. Use the Wildcard when your team needs a Wildcard, and I think it's specific to your individual team. I wouldn't be worried too much about whether other people have used it or not, just focus on your team. It can be useful every now and again to mock up a draft Wildcard, and then compare it to your current team, and decide if you think there's enough upside to playing it. Personally, I'm quite happy with my squad, so I'm not looking to use it anytime soon. Ideally, I'd like to save it right the way up until Game Week 16, which is the last possible time to use the first wildcard. With there likely to be earlier double and blank game weeks, I think saving it could really come in handy this year, more so than in previous seasons. Igor asks, best wildcard options right now. So I had a look at what team I'd pick if I was playing the wildcard ahead of Game Week 5, and it would be something along these lines. Having both Son and Kane can be a real differential, while most people will be scrambling around to fit just one of them in. I'd invest heavily in Villa assets, with Martinez, Target and Grealish, since they've got a long run of good fixtures. Last season, only Ender Stevens and the Liverpool fullbacks created more big chances than Target, amongst FPL defenders. Brewster looks like a great enabler after his move to Sheffield United. They paid a sizable fee for him, so I'd expect him to get starts. The defence is one of the hardest parts about selecting a wildcard at the moment, because you've got players like Justin and Mitchell potentially coming to the end of the road. Ricardo Pereira and Van Aanholt are both due back shortly. So I'd actually consider going with Ferguson as the 5th defender now, despite him still being sidelined. I think in the long term, you're likely to get more starts from him down the line. The other option would be to go without a Liverpool fullback and spread that cash across 2 defenders, to give you another playing option. And the final question for this episode comes from Erwin: stick or twist with Liverpool defenders? The issue with selling them is that you end up redistributing the funds, and it's much harder to bring them back in down the line. I definitely think there'll come a time when we want them back. So I would try to fight the temptation to sell. I still think Alexander-Arnold has a lot to offer, and Robertson has really improved his effectiveness in the final third since the restart last season. He ranks joint top amongst defenders with 4 shots in the box and 2 big chances this season. There's a sea of green and grey fixtures to come, so my advice to those on a wildcard would be to save the 0.5 with Robertson, but not go without either of the Liverpool fullbacks.